What's good, everybody? What is good? Welcome. It has been a long time, long time coming, but welcome to the show. It's gonna be weird for me because I feel like I definitely got to practice. But shout outs to everybody who's already here in the building. You guys are all right and all ready for what's going on here. I want to talk about something that's been on my mind as I try to bring forth some thoughts as to some of the things I've been experiencing since I have taken a little bit of time off, mainly focusing on work, yes, but also taking a break from the online space. There are things that is on my mind, and I'm going to try to put it out as best as possible as to why I also have been making the kind of shifts that I've been doing, because it kind of goes in line with the subject, rather the topic of the stream, which is the signal versus noise. So with that being said, I don't want to delay anymore. Let's get a little bit into it, because we live currently in a world where everything is loud. Everyone is shouting. Everyone platform are buzzing. And every second that we're alive, someone is trying to, quote, hijack your attention. But here's the thing. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most of us, here's the truth that I would say that most of us, or rather, most of what's being screamed at you on a regular basis, has no weight. It's just static. It's static, and static it's a perfect trap, if you ask me, because it feels like motion. It feels like motion, but the truth of the matter is that you're standing still. When you get hit with a static shock, you're not really known for moving around much. Anything that gets shocked tends to become paralyzed, but doesn't realize it because it's too focused on what? That feeling of the static shock. Noise is everywhere because noise pays. Outrage pays. Controversy pays. That's why algorithms love to push the loudest voices, not the wisest of them. The system doesn't care if you grow. It cares if you stay. And nothing keeps you stuck like noise. If you can't separate signal from noise, you're not living your life. You're just a puppet dancing to someone else's alarms, rings, and triggers. Now, here's the thing about that. People defend noise. It's ridiculous how far they go to defend noise. They get comfortable in it. They confuse being informed with being transformed. Let me say it again. They get confused with being informed versus being transformed. They confuse being busy with being productive. They confuse being loud with being right. And the more that they defend noise, the more allergic they become to the signal. Because signal demands you sit with yourself. And that's very hard to do in a lot of different spaces. Let me ask you guys real quick. When was the last time something loud changed your life for the better? Let's be honest. You think about all the distractions that are out there. When was the last time you actually did something that was going to be, quote, beneficial to you, to your friends, to your family? When did it ever push the goddamn needle forward? Or was it something quiet and you almost ignored it? I'm going to ask you, are you addicted to being entertained or are you addicted to being better? That's a question for you and only you alone to answer that. Noise is seductive. It is seductive because it sells you a lie. If everyone else is here, this must be where truth is. Not for nothing, that is why panels, arguments, and endless discourse feels magnetic. Makes you feel alive. You don't want to be left out of the circus, don't you? No, you don't. But noise doesn't give you answers. Noise gives you dependency. I mean, come on, look around. Panels where people argue the same points night after night. Timelines where the same outrage gets recycled in a new headline. Group chats where people circle the same opinions until they're blue in the motherfucking face. And at the end of the day, what do you really walk away with? Nothing but fatigue, if you ask me. And the illusion that you participated in something that you want to see as important. Noise is a cheap drug. It gives you the rush of urgency while robbing you of clarity. Sorry, a lot of you guys are not going to like it. You're expecting something totally different. You want to hear a bunch of outrage. I'm sorry, I'm just not going to give that to you. But don't worry, it's the weekend. You got plenty of people that can give it to you. Because here's the dangerous part. That's nothing but herd energy, which is why you run off real quick because this is not the crack house for you. Noise convinces you that silence is irrelevant. That if you're not speaking up, you're falling behind. That's why clout chasing flocks to the loudest fucking rooms. They're not chasing truth. They're chasing validation. But validation is rent. It's rent. And signal is ownership. I mean, how many people do you know who mistake being visible for being valuable? Think about that for a moment. If noise vanished tomorrow, how many people would you lose? Or rather, how many people would lose their entire identity overnight? Just like that. Here's a challenge to you. Because I just need to be honest. How much of your day is shaped by noise instead of signal? Gonna keep it a buck. A lot of you will deflect and distract and try to act like you're humorous and get nowhere. Because people rather show their ass than show their intellect. Trying to keep it a buck. Signal doesn't need to shout. That's the thing that people do not get. They do not understand. They're trained to think. They are trained to think that truth comes from flashy lights and theme music and clips to embarrass or clips to make you laugh. But Signal is quiet because it doesn't need to compete. It is not here to seduce you. It is here to save you. Look around you. People can't even sit still today in silence anymore. They got to take drugs and everything. They panic if there's no TV in the background, no phone buzzing, no nonsense chatter fucking filling the air. They are drawn to everything that's in static. They rather drown in static than face their own thoughts. And the sad part is that when real signal shows up for them, something that can actually change their life, change them, their family, and the foundation of their loved ones, it feels boring. It feels uncomfortable. They scroll right motherfucking past it. I think that's why most people missed the shift. They tuned out so much, all the loud shit, because they prefer the circus. They prefer the noise. They've forgotten how to actually hear, to listen intently to the whispers. But whispers are where the real power lies. It's the same way how people will get there and they look at video tutorials and everything else going on, right? But have you noticed that the most successful people are still reading books? But books are boring. Books require you to actually have focus. Books aren't loud. Well, I'll just get the audiobook of it. And then you don't focus on your audiobook because you want to do what? Multitask. And you're missing the key parts. This is nothing new. Human beings have even convinced themselves that they're great at multitasking when all stats show differently. The whispers focus you to lean in and learn, and most people do not get it. Noise screams for your attention. Signal waits for you to get serious. And most of you are too afraid to get serious. Too easily swayed like junkies to get serious. Which one of those tunes are you going to be leaning into? Most of you are not going to lean into Signal. I'm just going to be honest with you. And that tells me if you're ready to grow or if you're just killing time. Most of you are killing time, the most valuable commodity that you have. And here's the funny part about it. It's only your time to waste and you'll never get it back. You'll sit there and scroll for hours. And you'll sit there scratching your head as you lay down in your bed or your cot or your couch or whatever. And you'll be like, what did I do today? You'll be sitting there for hours from place to place and panel to panel and channel to channel and won't even realize, won't even know what you really did with yourself for that day. Chat, be honest. When was the last time you ignored something subtle and later realized that the truth was slapping you in the fucking face and you just refused to see it? We all have, if you really think about it, if you could just sit down and actually just look around, you can be able to see somewhere in your life, somewhere in this journey of your story, where you know there was something that was so important, you know you needed to do it. It was there, it was sitting you right in front of your fucking face, but you missed it because you went for the distraction so easily. You knew it was there, it was something that you could do, you knew you can get it done, and you let it go for the distraction. And then you guys talk about all kind of other shit, money and all kind of, you're not broke because you miss opportunities. Let me just put that out there for you guys who like to sit there and talk about your money, your pockets. You're not broke because you missed opportunities. You're broke because you couldn't hear the signal over your own noise. You couldn't. You couldn't be bothered. And honestly, why does the signal get ignored? Why does it get ignored so easily for you guys? And I have to go through it, same way how a lot of people go through it. The hard reality is the world profits. Let me say this again. I'm going to say real slow for you. The world profits off you ignoring your signal. Take your pick. Algorithms, media, even your own social circle. They all thrive on keeping you distracted, addicted, and entertained. Noise is engineered to win. It's cheap. It's flashy. It floods your brain with junk food. Signal, it's not the same way. Signal doesn't spike your dopamine. It doesn't. It doesn't always make you feel good. It doesn't flatter you, make you feel special. It doesn't make you feel like you belong. It doesn't give you a quick relief. It's medicine. And most people would rather die of sugar than swallow the pill that's going to help them. And that's why you see men hitting 40 plus with nothing but highlight reels of the noisy shit that they watch and have nothing else to show for it. They chase every distraction and call it a lifestyle. But the signal was there the whole time, the whole goddamn time, sitting quietly, waiting for them to just do one thing with themselves. Stop bullshitting. And this is why growth, honestly, feels so foreign to a lot of people. They're not dumb. They're not deaf. They're not deaf to anything that doesn't come, quote, wrapped in entertainment, for sure. Noise entertains you in the present. Distracts you even looking at the past, and distracts you from damn for sure looking at what could be in your future. The signal is always building on your future. But most people are too busy laughing their ass off at memes, at shows, at panels, scrolling, to notice that their life is slipping away because they can never get that time back. And there will be many other people that when you say, if you've managed to get your signal, will tell you, you should be distracted, not even for your sake, but for theirs. There are people who will convince you that it's okay for you to be distracted because they need someone to be around them. They need someone to attach themselves to who will do what they do. Because you focusing on getting better doesn't benefit them. They can't see it. because you focusing on getting better means that you need to have a hard look at yourself. You need to lean into that signal. I mean, let's put it this way, because apparently a lot of you guys won't pick up on what I'm saying for some reason, because you're probably distracted, probably listening to me in the background, watching P-Hub in the background, or frying fish, or who knows what the fuck else you're doing. Compare fast food to a home cooked meal. One fills your stomach, the other builds your body. Which one have you been eating for your past 20 years? I think people suddenly wake up, say 55, wondering why they're stuck. And I think it's because they've been living on nothing but noise, junk food. Come on, Chad. This is some of y'all too. What is the noisiest distraction that you still have not cut off in your life? And don't lie. Don't lie to yourself. Because we've all got one. What's that thing for you? Everybody has one. But a lot of y'all act like you're fucking perfect. And y'all sit there and do the same addictions every day in, day out. Why? Because attention is currency. Let's be honest, folks. Attention has become the most expensive currency in the world because it requires time. Forget money. Forget gold. Forget crypto. What everybody is fighting for right now is your attention. That's why your phone lights up. That's why you get a dozen plus notifications every hour. That's why the entire corporations pay billions for ads that don't even guarantee sales because they're not interested in the price. They're interested on keeping your focus. They're interested in owning a piece of your life. You're the shareholder. You're sharing a part of your life, a part of your time. Noise thrives even in this economy because it's fast food for your brain. Cheap, quick, and addictive. But it doesn't need to be good. It just needs to be loud, colorful, boisterous, loud, always available. That's why people bring so much fucking nonsense, especially nonsense content, day in and day out, day and night. While the signal, that thing that could actually help change your life, sits quietly on the fucking shelf being ignored, just collecting dust. They say the most valuable place where you can see inventions that were never created, ideals that were never lived up to, and dreams that never were fulfilled. The most famous place that you can go to see all those things are at the graveyard. People who never realized their ambitions and their talents. People who never built things that would be best for society because they were also distracted. Never realized their potential because they never got the signal. How many of you are just going to be just like them? The system doesn't want you healthy. Healthy people don't consume endlessly. Healthy people don't panic buy. Healthy people don't spend their time scrolling through endless feeds of recycled stupidity. Noise is engineered to keep you weak. Sorry, folks, that's just the way it is. Sorry if you don't like it. It's meant to keep you weak. It's meant to keep you distracted. It's meant to keep you dependent because dependent people are profitable. Bye. Bye. You don't like it. I know. This probably talking about you. Bye though. Noise is profitable because it's addictive. Sorry if you don't like that. Sorry if I hitting too close to home for you. And you better get used to freaking conversation like this because a lot of you guys who are sitting around waiting for the other shit, you ain't getting it. I am officially taking a break from all that shit because I would rather just be to myself and take care of the signal that I got going on than be here contributing to noise. That's why I don't feel bad if you want to go somewhere else because I'm going to be focused. You can get all the distractions you like. I'm not going to be a part of that. This is something that I even had to have a conversation with earlier today, early in the morning today, by the way, with even Resto. Is it a difficult journey to have to do same say like content creation? Sure. Sure it is. But the outcomes you get is the outcomes you get. And that's because of your affiliations, your associations. If your market that you're at is oversaturated, you can't expect to do the same thing and become profitable. Or rather, if you want to do something different, expect the journey to be long and hard fought. But you can't turn around and say, I appreciate you for doing what you're doing and being different, but then say you should be like everybody else. That's a contradiction. Then people are confused. I don't need people being confused about what I do. It's confusion that leads us all astray. It is confusion that puts us all in a state of being fucked up. And as I tell a lot of people, you can't say I do this for the money because I don't get paid. Despite what you guys think. But I say, do what you got to do. I wish the best for all of you, whether I like you or not. If this is what you decide you want to waste all your time in, I just hope you're able to take care of all the things that really do matter and not throw all your eggs in one basket. I hope that with the thing that you're doing, that you truly love it and you're not just doing it hoping that one day you'll get a check. You might be waiting for a long time, especially if you're doing it for a check and you're not good at it. Consistency is nice, don't get me wrong. But consistent shit work will always give you consistent shit results. So are you trying to develop? Are you trying to get better? Or are you just consistently putting out shit work? Because the people who are doing really well found the signal. Just saying. Something that you guys need to think about, especially that you guys who are content creators. Honestly. Let's compare it to a grocery store. Candy for everybody at every checkout. Let's be honest with the real food. A lot of people have a problem affording. Chat, let me ask you this. When was the last time that you consumed something that made you feel sharper instead of just keeping you busy? Let me ask that again. When was the last time that you consumed something that actually kept you sharper and not just kept you busy? Because a lot of people do a whole lot of shit and not getting a whole lot of shit, get things done. They're doing a whole lot, but not getting anywhere. They're running in place. And then not for nothing, When you sit there and you put people on the chopping block, and you bring them up to the quote front of the congregation, they defend the noise. See, this is the thing that I deal with a lot of people. You can say content, you can say anything. There are people who will do it. And then on top of that, they will defend the very noise. Because this is the wildest part. This is something I have to deal with when it comes to people. People will actually defend the very noise that keeps them stuck. You've seen it, and I've seen it before. When you question their favorite show, their favorite creators, how they spend their time, how they spend their favorite distractions, but they talk about how they're not getting anywhere. What did you invest? You spent your time distracted. They love being in their little bubble of chaos. And the type of that they're gonna fight you back. They'll fight you like they're trying to defend their own identity. They haven't really invested in shit. They just threw their time away. But they'll fight you to the end, like somehow their life is on the line. Their identity is on their line. Their pride is on the line. And the truth of the matter is they're gonna fight you on it because you are attacking their identity. You are attacking how they waste their time. Because noise became their identity. Think about it for a moment. The entire online communities are built around noise that everybody just consumes together. Panels thrive on arguments. Timelines are just nothing but full of drama. The chats where nobody learns anything, nobody feels like they even belong. If you are trying to unplug from that, people will call you out for that. They will even call you arrogant. They will say that you are out of touch. They will say that you are boring because you're leaving the noise behind, because you're leaving them behind. Here's the truth. Here's the absolute truth, though. People don't actually want clarity. I've said this here on my own channel. People do not want clarity because clarity requires responsibility. Noise let them stay entertained without being accountable. And that's why when you start chasing signal, people will say, you've changed. I can't tell you how many times I just already heard that just this year. You've changed. And they're right, by the way. You have changed. You stop dancing around to the fucking static. People don't defend noise because it's good. They defend noise because it's an excuse for them to stop motherfucking growing. I'm just saying. How many people in your life get mad at you the moment you stop entertaining that noise? I'm just going to keep it a buck. A lot of people will defend debauchery before they defend anything that makes any form of sense. It's the opposite of, they say that if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. Well, if it makes sense, it's too crazy. If it makes sense, we don't want it. It's crazy. It's to the point where, like I said, and I've been talking about this even with other creators who I'm rather close to online and everything. I'm like, I'm tired of dealing with grown men, mainly men, who are just interested in yelling. I have so many things, so much things that I should be and could be doing. Then again, I don't get paid to do this. Why would I bother? There are so many other things that require my attention, my discipline. And as I started hearing a lot more of my signal and getting a lot more into the things that I know I should be focusing on, here comes the bullshit. Well, here's what you need to do. Do what? You need to entertain bullshit. No, I don't need to do any of that. I heard it from people who are creators and people who are non-creators. Why would I do that? Because what? You think that me doing something that will garner bad attention, that I have to now turn around later on and rearrange that mindset is something I'd rather be doing? Why would I continue doing something that I am not interested in? I would rather be okay doing something that I am interested in and not have the social pressure than deal with the social pressure of dealing with something that I absolutely hate. Why would I spend my time doing something that is detrimental for me when everybody else benefits from it except me? I am highly selfish. I like me first. I love me. I love me some Resla. Why would I put you above me? I'm so selfish. It'd be the same way like in the bedroom. I come first. We can talk about you later. But so many people take your pick from the chats, from content creators, whatever. They just think that everybody else should come first. No, you should be walking along the journey with me, not me finding ways to entertain you. You be here because you want to be here. I'm not going to do things to make you be here, because it's the truth of the matter, and a lot of people don't get it. You cannot force people to do something that they don't want to do. If you are here, it's because you chose to be here, because I cannot force you to hit a link. I cannot even force you to listen. I can only say things, and if it hits you, if you manage to get something from it, hopefully you'll take it back into your real life, instead of always throwing yourself online and believing that this screen, your phone, you're tapping your phone, you're looking at that this is somehow the real world. Hopefully you go outside and you see some real people in your life, man or woman, ant or elephant, and you build some actual connections. Instead of sitting here trying to build connections with people, with presumed people who are avatars, just avatars. I'm asking you to get some real life. I'm not asking you to look for the avatar. Get some people, some real life people, not the avatar, not the speech bubble. Real life people. Do real life shit. I would rather deal with people who I can see and touch and actually can be able to see. Because you know what's the most important thing of all communication? Body language. You can't get that from a speech bubble. You cannot get that from an avatar. You cannot get body language from an avatar. People are willfully putting themselves in ignorance, willfully setting themselves up, because the things that are really important, they can't understand. Same way, I'd rather get a phone call than deal with text all day, because tone is important. And I don't know what, because people are just so distracted, they're willing to accept the bare minimum in all forms. In all forms. It's sad that you're willing to accept so little and other people get so much from you out of it, especially corporations. You're willing to accept peanuts while they get billions. It's amazing to me. And I think it all starts because of the fact that a lot of people have a problem with the word discipline. Because noise robs you of discipline. is just another addiction. The reason why I am so worried about drugs is because of what it does. Not get you high, that's the result of it. What it does first is it robs you of your will. That's how you become an addict. It robs you of your will. Because if you had willpower, you can get high and then be like, that was nice, and then stop. Maybe once in a while you do it. But if you need to keep doing it, because it robs you of your will, it robs you of your discipline. Most people treat information like junk food. And again, they'll take anything. Fast, cheap, greasy. They'll taste so good and will be on the toilet and then turn around and go, I'll never do it again. And they do it exactly next week, if not in that later that same week. If it pops up in your feed, they'll show it. But people who want to live in signal, they're not worried about it, especially when they lean more and more into that direction of the signal. And it's not impossible, folks. You have what it takes to develop and lean into discipline, to filter out the other shit. You can do it. But it requires you actually making first a sacrifice, a conscious decision to do it. Most of you will have a huge problem being off of YouTube for solid 5 days. You will have a huge problem being off of social media in general for 3 days. A lot of you don't have the discipline to do it. You don't have the willpower to do it. I think most of you have probably on accident not been on social media an entire day, and that's probably because you slept through it. A day. Only because you slept through it. Not because you willfully turned away from it. Not because you had a phone in your hand, you intentionally not clicked on those buttons, those applications. Because for the people who are actually dealing with discipline, you know what? Let me ask this: Does this add weight? When I think about this whole thing about the distractions and discipline, right? When I'm thinking about the things I know I need to pull away from, because I've been doing a lot of thinking about this, I ask myself, does this add weight to my foundation, or is it just something that is a distraction dressed up as relevance? And I just say, and I'm always asking myself when I say the relevance, right? Whose relevance? Very important add-on. Whose relevance? Why would I be interested in talking about mating and dating if I'm good? Why would I be worried about going through huge biblical arguments if I am secure with the Lord? Why would I bother talking to people who are broke and dusty if I'm good with money? You can't convince these people of anything, so why are you trying? Why not just be the example? Because if you're going to wrestle around with pigs, be prepared to have shit on you. But somehow a lot of you guys think that you're going to walk away clean. It's amazing to me. And I easily am like, I don't want to do it because I get tired of having shit on me. But then other people turn around and say things like, but Resla, hey, your channel could be bigger if you just get in some more shit. Why would I want to waste my time doing something that does not benefit me? Sure, probably my numbers can come up. But then everybody else is expecting shit. When would it be good enough for me to stop? The answer is nothing. I can't be able to. Because why? The same thing like a relationship. How you got them is how you have to maintain them. Let me say that again. How you got them is how you have to maintain them. And as you can see currently, especially on this Saturday night, I am willing to lose them. I'm willing to lose people. I am willing to not even be on for days because, as I told people, I don't get paid by this. So there's no incentive for me to be up all the time doing this. Because I said this to people, you should be worried about the fact of me not streaming as much. Because that means I'm enjoying the one thing that I didn't have. Time. I value my time more than anything. See, when I was doing this and going live and everything, I was actually really enjoying it. I don't really get online or stream or anything as much because why? Time has actually proven that it's not as enjoyable. Why would I do something that I don't enjoy? I like having conversations with you guys, but I also realize that you guys are really not interested in having conversations. Some of you are. Some of you are. The bulk of you are not interested in having discussions to learn. You're just around to talk. You're like 2-year-olds that finally get it, that someone else actually understand what you're saying. You'll say anything. You'll start babbling about anything, make no fucking sense, can't fully form words, have no grammar or anything. You'll just say anything, mush mouth, just so someone can listen to you, and you make no fucking sense. But you're just so happy for the attention. That's not what I'm looking for. When it comes to areas of finally people being able to be heard in their life because they're probably not heard anywhere else, it's a form of arrested development. Someone can finally hear me because I'm not heard anywhere else. And I feel bad. I feel bad for you. Because there was a time, even on my channel, I opened it up so that you could actually have the opportunity to get something off your chest because in real life, you're isolated. But you know what I also realized? You're a time waster. Because you don't even know when to shut the fuck up. And because I'm so selfish, you're wasting the most important person's time. My own. At least to me. Your time is how you spend it. But this is why I also say, if you want to waste time, especially online, start your own channel. I worry about people who don't have the aptitude for conversation, and I worry about old people. These are two people who can ramble off like a motherfucker. The people who are starved, the people who are old, I'll even say the people who got mental issues, and the people that are ignored in life. So happy that someone can finally listen to them. Because they're probably not their family, probably ain't their loved ones. So they get online and they become microphone terrorists, microphone whores. And they never get the signal. But also, I can also say that people that actually host the places, they also don't get the signal, especially if they're focusing on everybody else, if their concerns are everybody else and not themselves. And that's what I'm talking about, the signal. I'm talking about because filtering is not about cutting yourself off from the world. Unfortunately, people don't get it. It's about curating it, curating yourself in the world that you're at. There's so many people, and also a portion of my show, have so many opinions. They're so opinionated. They have so much that they want to say that they don't take the time to think. They just want to talk. A DJ doesn't just play every record in the crate. As someone who's been a DJ myself, you don't just play every record in the crate. They're selected ones. A chef does not use every spice in the kitchen. It's a selection. You have to be precise. And a lot of people come up, even will see a conversation, hear a monologue, come up and go way off base in less than 2 minutes because they want to use everything and fuck up a dish. They don't understand precision. They only understand noise. The same goes for your mind, ladies and gentlemen. Because the reality is, noise trains you to chase the sparks, but signal trains you to what? Build fires. A lot of people who hear noise, they're doing this. They're doing flint rocks. This is them all day. They're hearing. They're just hearing. They're listening to the noise, hoping that something going to happen. Oh, I saw a spark. And they chase that. These are the people that talk about the person that they heard about who was out there giving out fish to other people. They're not interested when the motherfucker comes to them and says, hey, instead of me giving you this fish, I'm going to teach you how to fish. They're like, I don't want all that because that requires thinking. I heard that you did it for somebody else. Why can't you just do for me like you did for them? Why you got to do me different? These are the things that happen. Well, maybe I saw something special in you that I didn't see in them. Don't treat me special. I want to be low grade just like them. If you thought they weren't capable, I need you to treat me like that. It's like, wow. Okay. That's crazy. A lot of people, because of this mindset, they are unable to filter. And guess what? You'll end up living somebody else's playlist. This is why you guys, even on your alt, sock, dummy, whatever the hell accounts that you make, and I see it when I have to click on there and I go, you just sit there, you're a page with very low subscribers, no content of your own, but you got a shit ton of playlists up there. You're a playlist fanatic. You'll end up living someone else's playlist. Moving to the rhythm that was never designed for your own growth. Being informed, folks, does not mean that you're evolving. Let me just say that. Because that's not enough. You having information doesn't mean shit if you don't utilize it. Transformation comes with signal, not noise. And a lot of you guys get your information second or third hand and you never do research. That's why I'm also telling you that your information doesn't mean a goddamn thing. Because if you're not using it, it's not serving you. You're serving it. Because most of you don't even know how to be silent. You guys sleep to crickets or waterfalls or gunshots or loud music or a panel or what. You guys don't know what silence is like. You have no idea how. It scares you to be in silence. And some of you guys are out in the country. Deafening silence will have you go crazy. Silence is hated because it has no distractions built into it. Because noise makes you feel alive, it makes you feel busy, it makes you feel like you're not alone. But it never helps you move forward. A lot of people don't like silence because why? They don't like to be in their own head. Because silence will expose them to themselves. Because it will show them that in their own mind, they're really not in a good place. That when it comes to all the things that they could be doing, that all they've been spending their time on is feeding on other people. That's why people can't sit still. They just stay in static. There are people who are out there talking about they want to do something for themselves. They want to do more. They don't want to get left behind, or rather they don't want to be in that. They feel like they have talents and dreams and everything. But when you say, what have you done to actually help you get yourself forward? They can tell you everything that they don't want to do. And I'm like, well, that's why you're not moving anywhere. You're expecting it to just drop in your fucking lap. Because silence is where the fucking signal hides. But it requires you to cut out all of the distractions first. The most life-changing ideals don't arrive in the middle of a screaming crowd. They hit you when you're in silence, when the world is still around you. When you finally give space to something new to actually enter that goddamn head. That's why people journal. That's why people meditate. That's why people just sit in a room without a screen. It's not about peace. It's about tuning in. But a lot of people don't get it. They don't get that. Because they'd rather be drowned out by voices. The voices that say, you could be doing better. They don't want to listen to that one. Because most people rather be comforted by entertainment and be controlled. And I'm going to keep saying it. Noise keeps you distracted. Silence forces you to face yourself. A lot of people are not willing to do it. It is what it is. You said we all can't be on center stage. You goddamn right we all can't. And most people who are capable of being on the stage in general, they don't even have to be center. They don't even try because they're too busy being distracted being a fucking crowd member. They're too distracted sitting in the fucking bleachers. And here's the thing about life. Whether you are on the field of life or whether you are sitting in the fucking bleachers, life is going to punch you in the face. Let me say that again. Whether you are on the field or whether you are in the bleachers, life is going to hit you in the mouth. If that is going to be the case, you might as well go on the field and have a good time. I would not want to get hit in the mouth sitting idly. I'd rather get hit in the mouth while doing something productive. And a lot of people are sitting in the fucking bleachers getting hit for fucking free, getting nothing from it. That's the truth of the matter. And to even get your signal, it's not something you stumble upon. You have to choose to want it. If you want fitness, you have to choose that. You don't just fall into fitness. You have to choose it. You have to do work. You have to make a conscious decision and cut out all the other shit that will keep you from doing the work. I hate to say this to you, K-Mix. Most people don't want to be support. And here's my thing. If you like what you do that. But here's what you next to do. Don't bitch about you want more. You need to be content. If you all okay being support, be support. Just don't desire more. Don't desire what other people are expounding to. Be comfortable being support. Don't ask for better being support. You chose your role being support. If this was a Dungeons and Dragons or whatever, if you see the paladin fighting the monsters up front, if you want to be the mage, do not go to the fucking front lines. Stay support. Do not take your staff and your rinky-dink fucking rags and walk your ass or run your ass to the front lines. Stay support. Because if you want to become a battle mage, you're going to have to level up. You're going to have to lean in and learn some new skills. Life will not reward those who are just sitting back. That's not the way it works. Life will not reward those who are not interesting. In order to see interesting things and to meet interesting people, one must first become interesting. That's just the way it is. You don't discover great shit being in the background. Sorry, not sorry. But the world has already proven that. Even in this day and age with all the technology and everything we got going on. They say don't start no shit, don't be no shit. Well, don't do no shit, don't get no shit. It's just the way it is. And if you're okay with receiving nothing, cool. But I hope you have the heart to say, I desire nothing. And as human beings, I really don't find that being the case. Even some of the most religious people I know want something. And if you want something, what do you want to go do to get it? Because no one's going to hand it to you. You don't get something by accident. I don't know anyone that just got abs by accident. I don't know anyone who got fat by accident, because I don't know anyone who just kept accidentally eating anything. These are the people that make a whole lot of excuses. These are the people that'll say things like, I dieted for 30 days and I lost a month. Because they really didn't do shit. These are the people that say, listen, I dieted so much, I dieted religiously. I just stopped eating in church. That's just some of y'all. Always got a little caveat in there. Got a little excuse somewhere in there. People got that same ass mindset. If your diet is cheap, you're going to get cheap results. If you try to shortcut the game will shortcut you. If everything's just about your dopamine, good luck to you. Because I don't know anyone that just likes going to the gym. You have to do the work while at the gym to then be into it. No one just feels like, I can't wait to go to the gym, pumped to go to the gym. No, but I never wanted to go to the gym. But it's only when I'm in there doing the shit uncomfortably, I actually get into it and I'm enjoying myself. Some of you guys, without any effort whatsoever, just can't wait. Give me that clickbait. Give me that gossip. Give me the endless panels, the endless drama. But then wonder why you'll never build clarity. Some of you choose habits that invite signal. And I think you guys should focus on that. But as I said, you guys will be like, I want to read 38 Laws of Power. Oh, you going to read that? I was thinking about audiobook. Oh, well, I know you're not going to learn anything from it then. Because there's no way you're going to listen to that book in silence. You're going to listen to that book and watch a panel. You're going to finger fuck. You're going to eat food. You're going to watch other people and hear other shit going off in the background while trying to listen to the book. You're going to be distracted. So I know you're not going to pick up anything from it. As I said, physical books these days still give people more of a world view. They still provide way more mentorship. They still have way more demand than noise. And the sad part about it is that because you'll even be able to do a lot of this work, you'll get more out of it. The aspects, the idea of doing that work humbles you. The conversation that you get from that book that you can have later on with other people will sharpen you. Even your entertainment. Watch the stuff that makes you think, not the stuff that makes you numb every evening. Because whether you realize it or not, your habits are tuning into your frequency. And they're turning you away from the signal that you need to be getting. And here's the shift that nobody talks about for some reason. Once you start feeding on that signal, noise becomes unbearable. Once you actually start leaning in and listening to that small signal, you'll start tuning out noise. It was like, I don't really want to be dealing with that. I'm trying to, what is that being said? There's something going on there. I need to know what's going on there. That's when you know that you start to level up. The same chaos that once excited you now feels like trash. And here's the thing about it. You'll never want to go back. If you are out of shape and you put yourself in a position to be in shape, you'll never want to put yourself in a position to be out of shape again. You'll never want to go back to feeling as bad as you used to be. Once you lean towards that signal, you're good. You are good. And you'll continue to move it because why? You built the discipline to be there. And you'll never want to drop that ball. So what's the cost of the signal, folks? Because people are like, they don't want to talk about it. Finding your signal is lonely. Let me tell you that again. When you find your signal, that shit is lonely. Because you start to see just how much the world is designed to fucking distract you. To keep you entertained, to keep you scrolling, to keep you in your mind in a state of rot. Noise is cheap. Like I said, it's everywhere. It gives people a false sense of connection. It gives people a false sense of hope. But once you actually figure out your signal, you cannot unhear it. And once you can actually tune out everything else, unhear a lot of that other bullshit, you can't stand the noise. You'll notice it in conversations. You'll notice it in conversations. Everyone's parroting the same old scripts, chasing the same old clout, debating the same old headlines. You'll notice it in your circle. People who love drama more than growth. People who love comfort more than clarity. And the more you commit to that signal, the more you're going to find this. You're going to outgrow them. Don't feel bad about it. It's part of the journey. That's the cost. Not money, not time, people. That's the cost. Noise will fill a room, but the signal will keep it empty. Because signal demands change. And most people would rather drown in noise than admit that they need to evolve. They need to freaking evolve. Like I said, noise gives you company, folks. Signal gives you clarity. And most people would rather be surrounded than be sharp. So let me ask you, is clarity worth loneliness? Because once you cut out the noise, even Even one true signal, one person, one ideal, one mission, I think it's worth more than 100 people cheering for nothing. That's my personal opinion, though. That's my thoughts. Now, I've learned that the crowd will clap for your noise, but only a few will actually stand with you when you find your signal. New challenge for you guys. Be real with yourself. Who in your life, who in your life is just noise? Whose static keeps you around because silence? Whose static you keep around because silence scares you? Because, like I said, everybody's got something going on. Everybody's got their own sense of noise. Every one of us is tuned to some kind of frequency, but most never actually want to go ahead and touch the dial. They just listen. They are born into noise, raised in noise, and most people will die in noise. They mistake being loud. They mistake all the noise for being meaningful. They forget about the repetition for wisdom. They forget that there is comfort in truth. But there are some who actually get to hear something different. Maybe it's a hum under the chaos. Maybe it's a thread of clarity that they didn't see before. And I want to say you should lean into that because it's beneath the static. That is your signal. And once you're tuned into it, everything will change. Even the things that you've always been looking at that's always been sitting in the same place, it will change. Because when you change your mind, when you change your surrounding, when you change how your mind process goes, the things around you change. Signal doesn't just entertain you, it transforms you. Signal doesn't just chase you for likes, it challenges you in all your weaknesses. Signal doesn't care about being popular. It cares about what is and what is not true. Once you are on your path on your signal, once you have it locked in, you can't fake it. You can't fake it. You can't perform it. You either live with it or you stay stuck in noise forever. Because noise is designated to distract you. You said what? You said you noticed that this is, let me see this real quick. Then this is your own life as you move through. Okay. More people cheer up for people getting out of prison. And you know what? One of the things that we would tell people, or rather not tell people, one thing we would recognize the people who got the signal while they were in prison back when they were getting all their one, their GEDs, and two, coming out with degrees. Because even the people who got their diplomas, their not diplomas, their degrees, these are people who got signals. These are the people that didn't just want to walk out with nothing because they wanted to be distracted by what was going on in the yard. They wanted to be distracted by all the other gangs. They isolated themselves to focus, to put themselves in a position to get better when they left. Some people keep that could also be it. Yes. Actually, when you say that, right, people who live vicariously, Um, it reminds me of what's that movie? What's the name of the movie? It's a it's a Jessica Alba movie. Honey. That's the name of the. She got the best friend. The best friend, Jessica Alba's character. She does all the dance moves. She's noticed. She gets in the sets. She's working with the producer. She does all the other stuff. Her friend is like, damn, I realized that, you're leaving me. I would still just be you and me, but you're the one who has the goods. Living vicariously. Thinking that it's okay to just be the person next to the person. But the truth of the matter is that even in your social circles and your friends, do you want to be the person with the least amount of value? Even in your social circles, you should feel the need to be useful. Even if I had somebody around me who was living a really good life, right? I'm asking myself, how can I be useful to them to ensure that I can live a good life? I don't want to be in a situation where those people move on and I'm stuck thinking, I can't do shit for myself. I never really took this. Like, oh, actually, this reminds me of Kevin Hart. Because Kevin Hart said this, I think, on Joe Rogan. He was saying, what's that? The sun don't stop for nobody. He said he was in high school. He was the class clown. He was doing this. He was doing that. Everybody was already studying for the SATs. They did all this other shit. And all he cared about was going to great adventures with them. So when they were all getting their test results back, magna cum laude, summa cum laude, high test scores, when they went to great adventures, that was a really good time for them. But he didn't feel as accomplished as they did because he didn't study. And he's sitting there looking at them like, yo, why didn't you tell me you was really serious about this college shit? Why you didn't tell me that you all study for? You forget something. They're doing what they're supposed to do because they're supposed to be looking out for their life. Why is it you're not looking out for your life? They're doing what they're supposed to. Why are you not doing what you're supposed to? End of the day, the common denominator is you. And I tell these people all the time because people even got all these stupid ass notions. Well, if you even figured it out by this age, then you're just going to be. No. You figure it out when you figure it out. But you can only figure it out once you figured out your signal. There are people who become distracted. They're even distracted by the company they work for. They will pay you a compensation for you to give up on your dream, to be distracted. Not for nothing. You get more out of your life building your own shit as an entrepreneur, solopreneur, if you want to put it that way as well. You'll get more. You'll learn more than you would being a wage slave, fulfilling someone else's dreams. Because the one thing you'll be sacrificing for so long is time. The one thing that you still need, that you could have been building up your own shit that will give you freedom. Because the rich, the reason why they are the way they are is that they can purchase their time. You cannot purchase your time stuck up under someone who will not give you the time. Look at this way. Look at this way, folks. Some of you guys, I don't know what your job is like, but let's look at some of the cure rates, right? Because this, as someone who worked in compliance, dealing with a lot of HRs, check this out. If let's just say if you worked for a job and you wanted to take a month off, right? Let's just say that your cure rate is, I don't know, 5 point something. Let's just do that. Nice little odd number. I like odd numbers. You would have to work 260 days of a year to get 1 month off paid. Let me say that again. You would have to work 260 days just to qualify to get 1 month off. Is that smart math, folks? Think of all those hours. I don't know if you're paid bi-weekly or weekly or whatever, but just think about that. 40 hours a week, 200 and at least 260 days just to be able to qualify to take 4 weeks off. 365 days in a week, folks. Think about that. There are 86, there are 80, sorry, there were 86,000, sorry, 87,000, no, 87,060 hours in a year. You're killing me. How does that make smart sense? You will bust your ass for damn near the entire year to have 1 month off. I've been talked about this even beforehand. Most people sitting here, they talk about they're working their way through 12 months of a year. Don't even realize they're working 13. You're working 13 months. Simple math. I did this before. We'll do it again. Folks, how many weeks are in a month? We can all say it, folks. How many weeks are in a month? Try not to be difficult in your own head. Now, how many months are in a year? 12. We got 4 weeks a month. We got 12 months. Cool. Happy that we already discovered that one. There are 52 weeks in a year. Cool. Happy that we got that part out. Folks, what is 4 times 12? Come on, put the work in. I want to see who's going to get this. Really? 4 times 12 is 52? Let's try this again. What is 4 times 12? Four weeks and 4 weeks for 12 months. Okay, thank you. 48, thank you. There are 52 weeks in a year, right? Subtract 4 from 52. How much is that? Come on, real easy. So where did the extra 4 weeks came from? Easy math. Where did the extra 4 weeks came from? We have 13 months that we're working through. And even of that, you still need around that 260 just to have 4 weeks off. Even to this day, why are we out here working for 8 hours a day when the most productive is already shown through stats that the most productive that a person will be is between 3 and 4 hours. I don't even know why I said between 3 or 4 hours. Why do you need an additional 4 hours? Why do you need to be held for an additional 4 hours? Most people do not think about this. Most people don't even know how to figure out their damn salary because they don't consider that they're being paid hourly when they're off the clock, when they're eating, when they're shitting, when they're on a date, they don't pick that shit right. You said because there are 28 days in a month. There are more than 28 days in a month. How does that eliminate the fact that there are four? That I want you to start again. Since you got a calculator, tell me how that eliminates that there are 4 weeks in a month. That regardless of what, we're talking about 365 days in a year. That's how we categorize a year. 365. In that 365, we categorize that as 52 weeks. But simple math says that it can't be 52. Simple math. We just broke it down. That means an extra 4 weeks. Which means you're working 13 weeks. Sorry, 13 months. Just saying. But again, it's not something we're supposed to be thinking about anyway. We got more things that we have to focus on, Christmas, 4th of July, Juneteenth, Black History, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween, Memorial Day, Labor Day. You got so many parades that you can go to get, and then you don't even forget about the parades that you get for your favorite sports team. Like there's so much for you to get distracted by. It's easy not to pay attention. But the people who actually lean in to do all that work, yes, they work a hell of a lot more, by the way. They work a shit ton, way more hours than you do. But their time is theirs, and they're doing the thing that they want to do. Most people are doing something that they don't want to do. Most. Some of you got lucky. Most people are going to work, they're going to jobs that they do not like. It is what it is. And working hard for something that doesn't like you back, by the way. Working hard for a company like the company is paying attention to you. It's the people within the company that has to pay attention to you, not the company itself. It's just four walls. Please do not have your loyalty based on four walls. Policies don't show loyalty either. Just putting that out there for you. You can only get loyalty from people. You can't get loyalty from four walls or a contract. So I put that out there for you. But then again, everybody's distracted. And I get it. Nobody wants to think about it because we are conformed not to think about anything. That's true. If you happen, I agree with that, Ms. Raven. If you happen to be a company that allows you to take two, when I was working for a company the company I'm working for now allows me to take a month off if I even want to sit there and go through all that. But last company I was with, they bitched about me taking a week off. Never mind 2 weeks. They bitched about me taking a week off. They definitely had the slave noose around me. Oops, should I said that? Slave collar. They definitely had that around me. They were bitching. You can't be gone for that long. I was pissed all the time. And they would still reach out to me when I was off. But then again, I already talked to you guys about boundaries. A lot of people do not allow, they don't set boundaries for themselves. So when it comes to you having your signals, or when it comes to you having your distractions, I mean, which one do you want to build your life on? Exactly. When you pass away, what exactly are you going to say for yourself? How did you spend your time? Hell, as an old person, if you make it to be that old, right? What are you going to tell if you have children or grandchildren? What are you going to tell them? Man, I spent a lot of time watching social media. It was awesome. Is that going to be your last words? Lying there trying to wait for your waiting for your last breath while you also got the fucking bedpan under you? Is that going to be it? What did you build your life on? What did you do for yourself? How did you put yourself in a better position? Because you don't get do-overs, folks. This is it. You're here and then you're moving on to the next thing. But as I said it earlier, most people won't change. Most people will not. They are going to continue scrolling. They'll clap. They'll laugh. They'll argue. And then they'll do it all again the next day. And that's what noise does. But some of you right now, hopefully some of you feel different. Hopefully some of you feel restless. Hopefully some of you are just sick and tired of all the noise and all the static. And if that happens to be you, I just say that don't become consumed by anything else. Just worry about the signal. Become the signal. Why do I have to say anything? Because someone else isn't doing it. Because not enough people are doing it. That's why I have to say it. Really? Because you believe everybody's parents has the ability or capability to actually explain these things? They're still distracted. Sins of the father and all that. But if you're someone that believes that everybody has a gift, then what makes you think that your parents are going to be the ones to give you anything, especially if you can look at them as an adult and say that they don't have any gifts? There are plenty of people who I talk to today, whether they're in their 20s or in their 50s, who have not discovered the signal. And then wasting the most valuable thing that they will ever have, the only thing that ever really is important: time. That's why I say it. And there are people who are fearful of moving forward because they were afraid of change. And if you're afraid of change, you're going to die with regrets, because you cannot tell me I'm not going to go with any regrets, but you're saying I wish I could do more. That's a regret. And as someone myself who is middle aged, who has started over, it is what it is. And I'm not special. But I also say you should do something. Why are you here? Why were you called to be here? Everybody has something that they can contribute. But are you allowing someone else to burn your battery? If not when you hear it from me, when? When will you decide to act? Because you can only have so much energy to do so. So when? Because while this may not be anything to you, Cake, someone else is hearing this and going, I needed to hear this. because I was already thinking I was wasting my time where I was at. You may not be one of those people. Why is he telling me this? And if you think you're good because you like being where you're at, again, be where you're at. But not everybody wants to sit in a support role. There are some people, in fact, there's not even some. Many people will pass away never being able to travel. They've never traveled. There are going to be many people who will pass away and have never traveled. And I'm not talking about internationally, just moving across state lines, more than 3 states away. And they will pass away never seeing what the world, what their country had to offer. They will only see it via a fucking screen or books. And they will spend their time building up money to spend it in Louis and Gucci and Prada. But that same fucking money that they're spending, they can pay for way less than that to get themselves a plane ticket. Because they are distracted. Plain and simple. Fucking distracted. I find it funny that I can be, if I put myself on a first if I put myself on a first class ticket, right? How I can sit in first class and feel embarrassed, go like this. Because people will get called up later to go to coach. And they wearing chains. They got grills in their mouth. They Gucci'd up. They got Louis shoes. But you in coach? Look at the way I dress. I'm sitting first class. I got leg room. You got all this bullshit on and you sitting in coach? That's crazy to me. That is absolutely insane to me. How is that possible? I can tell you how. They're distracted. I got people next to me looking at me like, so what do you do that's important? I do nothing important. I just saved my money, did exactly what I had to do, and here I am, first class. I just planned. I planned to be comfortable. I didn't plan to look great doing it. Yet these motherfuckers, 6'5", 6'4", kissing their fucking kneecaps in coach at the damn near tail end of a plane. But they got fly shit on. You say you're from the ghettos of Philadelphia. You and I are not far away. I'm here in New York City. I come from the hood, but I am definitely not. Like I don't gotta worry about zombies around me. Like y'all can keep Kensington. In fact, I got some people that I can ship over there to add to your collection. I agree. Most people don't. They don't travel 100 miles out. In fact, most people who I speak to, they've traveled only when they had their parents and they were kids. They have never done so on their own. Never done so on their own. Exactly, Zoomer. They got that shit on. They kissing their kneecaps in coach though. Motherfuckers are taller than me. Got the Gucci bag. Got the Burberry weekend bag. Got the fucking Gucci. Got a Gucci belt. Got Gucci shirt. Got fucking Louis shoes. Got Prada fucking bucket hat. All this shit. And motherfuckers is sitting in coach, kissing their kneecaps, taller than me. I'm sitting there trying to stretch my big toe out as far as possible to see if I can even touch the other side. Because I got so much fucking room sitting over at my economy. And I see that shit all the time. Because here's the funny part about it. When I go to the airport, I stand near the back. I stand near the back because I want to watch how many people are around, how many people are here, and I'm just trying to see who. And then when they call up, calling S da 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 da, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna walk up. I don't mind. Since I know I'm first, I don't mind even being at the end of the line because I'm still getting on before everybody else. So I just want to know, like, who's you're not coming. You're not coming. You're looking. Okay, she just said B. She's not. Okay. Who? They're not coming? Ooh, they look like they just fucking came from a red carpet. They're not coming up. And then you find out they're not like even like C. They're like in D and E. They're at the back tail of the fucking wing. And I'm just looking at them like, got all this bullshit on. Exactly, Zuma. Tragic. And I'm just like, and probably knew they were going to go on this trip for months. I bet they probably knew they were going to go on this trip a half a goddamn year. And still prepared to kiss their kneecaps near the back of the plane. They probably knew a solid 6-7 months that they were going to take this trip. Especially when I see them come in a group, because you need everybody to get their money together, because not everybody's pockets is the same. So that means you knew for like a solid 6-7 months that you were going to take this trip. And you only paid enough money to get ashy knees at the back of the plane. Okay? Make it make sense. No one said to step your game up. No one said, hey, we're all going as a group. Listen, we know this is 6 months out. Get your shit together. We all going to be first class. We all going to be first class. We all going to be first class. We all going to enjoy ourselves. We all going to be first class. We going to be comfortable the entire trip. We a unit. We all going to be first class. We all going to enjoy our trip. We're all going to do whatever. And instead, they spend all their time spending money on everything that they were going to wear and put themselves at the back with the screaming babies and everything else. They got the cart that came to at the end to them. So I'm like, yeah, I'll take the crackers. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, we're out of crackers. We're out of I'll take a ginger ale. We don't have any more ginger ale. Sorry. Because you were so deep back there in the back of the booth. They don't even have enough things for you. Even though airplane shit is expensive. That's a fact. Well, here's the thing. We know they don't have money. If you came through with sweatpants or pajamas and open-toe shoes, like bed shoes, like little furry fucking shoes and bonnets, and you came through with the fucking do-rag on your head, or you got a bonnet on yourself, sir. Like, no. I know you have nothing. I know you weren't prepared. Anyone willing to go dressed like that in the street, you know where you're going to convince me that you have anything in your pockets. In fact, you getting this ticket was probably all you could muster. Because your image matters. And this is what I'm thinking. It's the same as, I don't understand the purpose. If you have a do-rag on your head, fellas, if you got a do-rag on your head, I don't understand the purpose of you having a do-rag on your head, let's just be honest, pretty much 24 hours. Supposed to be wearing it so when you go to fucking sleep. Not when you go to sleep, not when you wake up, not when you go to work, not when you hang with your friends for a drink. It's not supposed to be 24 hours on your head. Same thing for guys with your fitteds. You're not supposed to be having that shit on your entire 24 hours. You should not be going to bed with a fitted on. You should not be going to bed with a fitted on. The same way how you should not be wearing a fucking do-rag on your head 24 hours. Pretty much got bruise marks upside your fucking forehead because you had that shit wrapped so tight and so on for so long in a day. When's the last time you took that shit off? Like 3 days ago? Why? I don't get it. I do not understand. You want waves, but nobody can see them. Why? Ass backward shit. Wait, what? Well, everybody has their own thing. I think like I said, a lot of people are going to make a lot of excuses. They've already made lots of excuses. And honestly, I'll ask you this when it comes to the aspect of noise. What's the loudest noise that you need to turn down? You know what your noise is. You know exactly what it is that you feed upon. That you know you shouldn't be wasting your time with it. What's that thing that you know we need to turn down the volume on that shit? That you know it's not right for you. You need to cut that shit out. You need to own it. What's that thing? For some of you, it's these panels. For some of you, it's porn. For some of you, it's music videos. I doubt any of you are going to say financial content. I doubt it. I doubt most of you are going to turn around and say the cooking network. I doubt people are going to turn around and say it's knitting content. I doubt it. Like, I highly doubt it. There's no way you could be scrolling for so many hours of a day, and then you're telling me that the only thing, come on, stop it. And you forget, guys, for some of you in here, I see you. And if not, I don't see you. I see what you're writing in the chat when I do see you at other people's channels, and you can talk about, did you see what's going on another person's channel? Hey, were you here earlier for this? And I'm like, you were there for that? When did you sleep? For instance, I was asleep. I woke up. I picked up my phone. I was like, oh, what? I got a message. I looked at my fucking I looked at my Discord and I saw I had a message from Resto. I said, "Oh shit, what's going on with Resto?" He said something about pull up or blah 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 blah. I don't remember what it was. All I know is that when I finally got my ass up out of bed, I went to go use the bathroom, came back, sat down. Yes, I washed my hands. Sat down, go look for his stream, and I think Kev had just left. And I was like, do I feel like doing this? But I saw he was up there. I saw Locksmith was up there. I saw Ruck was up there. And I was like, you know what? We'll see what's going on. I'll spend about an hour or so. And if anything, I got to go back to bed. And I was up there chopping him for a little bit. And we had a whole discussion about a whole bunch of stuff. And I was just like, yeah, I got to go back to sleep. I want to make sure I get a little bit of rest back because I had to literally be up in about 2 hours or something like that. But again, for me, not a distraction. I had my rest. In fact, I was contemplating whether I should just stay up. Because to me, in my mind, I was like, yo, I should just really stay up and just try to get some of this content written down for myself, new questions for myself. Maybe I need to work on some of this new stuff that I'm trying to do for my content. Like I was thinking about working. I was up and I was like, nope, if I start all this, I'm going to literally wake up. And I don't want to wake up and then like somewhere like in the middle of my work shift, I'm gonna be tired. Especially because I knew I was gonna go live tonight. I knew if I got too tired, there's no way in hell I was going to do content tonight. I was never going to hit this live button. So I had the discipline, even though it was 2 hours or so, and I took my ass to sleep. Short nap, got up, and I got up with so much energy, and I rocked out the day. But there are some people, they can't do that. They would have probably got the call from Resto. They probably would have hopped up and they probably would have been up there and they know that they needed to be to work or whatever. And they would have been like, that's okay, I'm gonna stay up. And they would have been up there the entire time and dicking around. Well, I don't need to sleep right here now. And they would have went to someone else's channel or they would have did somebody else's back chat or they would have knowing they had to go to work and probably not be as productive. Sorry if I'm calling out some of y'all. I know some of y'all are like, fuck him, he's talking about me. I'm out. I mean, okay, cool. Not my worry. You're responsible for you. But you can't say shit. Can't say shit if you don't get results. We're talking about sacrifices, folks. You see that the problem is that a lot of people don't want to make sacrifices. They want shit, but they're not willing to sacrifice things. I do shit. Listen, I do shit even while at work. I focus on a lot of my own personal shit while I'm at work. If I found downtime, it's my time. I keep myself in view for anyone who wants to reach out to me, come to my desk, catch me, hit me up on a chat or at work. But when I find downtime, I'm like, this is my time. This is my chance to get something done personally for me that's going to help benefit me for the future. And I can guarantee you, there used to be a time when I started where I used to focus on content. I don't even do that now. I focus on certifications. I could be, well, let's see what I could talk about today. And I go, why bother? What I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on the things that are important. I'm going to go look for certification because why? Why am I going to bother? Why am I going to bother doing all that? For what? For what? I felt bad though with Rester earlier because he was like, he doesn't want me to quit. And I'm like, I mean, people quit. My thing is this. If I did leave, not that I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking about it, but if I left, there would be a good reason to do so. The idea of doing things that are not benefiting you and still doing it is ridiculous. If it doesn't serve you, you need to move on. Same thing like any relationship. If it's not really serving you, you need to go. But I think a lot of people, like in a lot of people's jobs, they get comfortable and they stay in for way too longer than they need to. Way longer than you need to. Some people are afraid of starting over. Some people are afraid of seeing new things. Some people are afraid of starting a new chapter in their life that could be better than where they are right now. Man, there was this thing. I can't believe I could have been doing this for so long, but instead I got so comfortable where I was at, or so fearful from where I was at, and I could have been doing this all this time. You could have been. You could have been. But you didn't give yourself a chance because you didn't listen. A lot of people are more interested in hearing, or rather talking rather than listening. I've been saying that for a while. That's why I know a lot of people are hearing noise and they should be tapping that shit down. But instead they let it distract them. They let that shit ramp up. They ramp up the intensity. They like They put their hand on the knob for the volume and they turn that shit up instead of turning it down. It's ridiculous. So honestly, and I'm probably gonna end it out this way. Harping it down. Noise is everywhere, folks. Noise is everywhere. Signal is rare. And the sad part is that everybody has the capability of listening to a signal, but it requires you to actually focus. But if you're only looking for the entertainment, because most of the time, at least if you could find entertainment that had a great message in it, it's great. But most of you are only wanting to find the same old shit that you've been listening to that you know you're not getting anything back in return. And I'm honest about that. You're getting nothing back in return. And yet you still choose to sit there and go through it. Why? I would rather focus on my own shit. It could be content, it could be studying, it could be building certificates, it could be reading the books that I need to catch up on doing. I would rather be spending my time focusing on me than spending my time focusing on someone else that gives me nothing back in return. Just some food for thought. Why are you investing so much in someone else, especially people that you don't know personally, more than you would invest in yourself? Why is it you are protecting someone else's journey and not protecting your own mind, your own funds, protecting how you can be living in the future? Because at the end of the day, only one will be remembered. Will it be you? That's the only thing I have to ask you. I got nothing to say about that. Anyway, guys, thank you for it. I'm going to leave you to it. I'm going to take off. By the way, you can frame it as it is. If you actually feel like you may have gotten something from this, who knows, maybe on the replay, maybe not. Like I said, most of you guys, you probably listen to this background music because you're only attracted to what? So hopefully you got some signal out of this. And hopefully you'll lean into something of your own in the future. If anything, feel free to support the channel. Hey, by the way, a donation does not mean money only. If it means through actual application of just spreading the word for the channel, actually being able to hit the like button. If you haven't, actually being able to do what? Support the channel, sub if you have not, because a lot of you guys are wandering spirits. So you never know. Oh, speaking of which, John the Baptist, I didn't expect you to be here. So, look, shout out to John the Baptist in here. He says stack out. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. I know last time I saw you here. That's what's up. Well, listen, we all got to do something. I never had a basketball career, but I appreciate you for the 20. Thank you very much, John the Baptist. Like I said, if you manage to actually go through all this and you manage to find a little bit of signal, if you manage to even capture some of the questions that I may have asked you guys, okay, whatever one's most prominent to you, if you're catching this on the replay, do yourself a favor, folks, and put it in the actual comment section of this stream. And I will see you on the next one. Like I said, if you haven't actually subscribed to the channel, be sure to do so that you can be apprised of when I'm going to be dropping my next stream or even video. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Keep yourself safe, keep your family safe, and make some changes in your life that'll benefit you and not just other people. It's okay to be selfish. I'll see you on the next one.